Okay, a client ordered for seafood okra and vegetable soup. So I thought, okay, since I have a lot of time, I've already prepped everything. Why don't I just film the process? So come with me while we cook seafood okra and vegetable soup with goat meat. In fact, these are the ingredients. For the seafood okra, we are going to be using two types of fish: the croaker fish and the catfish. And we would use. We have our crabs and our prawns, king prawns. We're using king prawns. My customers are really enjoying. We have our oyster. We also have our snails. And we have our locust beans. Yoruba people call it iru. We have crayfish and salt and seasoning cubes and uziza leaves. That's like the leaf we used to design the face. Then we also have our chopped okra. So for the vegetable soup, we are using the ugu leaf and the water leaf. I'm an Akai girl, so this is how we cook our vegetable soup. Then we have goat meat and assorted beef. We have pomo. We have stockfish, we have fish, we have crayfish too. And yeah, let's get into it. We'll start with our seafood okra. So let's cook. So first of all, I'm going to be seasoning my catfish. The reason why I'm not adding the croaker fish is because the catfish does not cook fast like the croaker fish. If I add the croaker fish now, it is going to go very soft and start scattering. So that's the difference between the catfish and the croaker fish. And it's not like I'm cooking the catfish, like overcooking it. So you just make sure it is done, at least done enough to like the heat has entered inside. Then you just take it out of the pot, and in that same fish broth, the fish stock, I'll add the crabs and the snail. I'll just cook it for a little bit because you don't want to overcook your seafood. The reason why we call it seafood is because you want to eat it and everything feels fresh. That's why we don't use dry sea animals to cook. So if you are saying fresh seafood okra, everything has to taste fresh in the mouth. So the next thing is, once the crab was almost done, I now went over to cook the okra. I just boiled the okra a little bit. Now this technique is another way to make your okra very slimy. So you just boil it, make sure that you didn't overboil it. Once it's steamed, and I added my pepper, seasoning cubes and locust beans, which is very optional. So once it starts steaming and looks very slimy, take it out. Then I brought back that pot that I used in cooking the crab, and at this point I added my croaker fish. I added palm oil, enough for the soup recipe for today, because I know I'm not going to add any more palm oil. Then I added a little bit of water so that it will steam the fish very well. Make sure it doesn't over steam, because the idea is for the fish not to overcook so that it doesn't break. So at this point, the fish is well steamed. I now went over to add my oyster, and I added my crayfish, my seasoning cubes and my pepper. After adding those, I'll let them to steam very well. Now I'm really timing this meal, because if you overcook any of this seafood, you will not enjoy it. You need your snail very crunchy. You need the crab not to be overcooked, but to be very tasty. You don't need your croaker fish to be overcooked as well. So everything has to have like a very good timing. Then at this point, I added the okra that I boiled previously, and I just stirred carefully, making sure that the fish doesn't break. I added my prawns because the prawns needs to still taste fresh, but prawns already has its own salt. After adding the prawns, I let it cook for a bit. At this point, you no longer need to cover the pot. You're not covering the pot anymore. After that, I added my sam and my uziza leaf and stirred, and my soup, my seafood okra is ready. I also added the catfish I boiled earlier, I seasoned earlier, and the seafood is ready. Then we went over to cook our edikangikong. So in a pot, I added my palm oil. I don't used to use onions to cook soups. I think I've said this in most of my videos. So I added my palm oil, I added pepper, I added crayfish, I added all the proteins I need for this recipe, and I let it steam very well. The meat and the assorted had its own little water, so I let it steam for a bit, and I added palm oil. Okay, I already added palm oil in the beginning. So after that, when it steamed well, I added seasoning cubes too. But I now went in to add my water leaf. After adding the water leaf, I added my seasoning cubes, making sure that I've adjusted all the taste. Then when the water leaf was a bit done, make sure you don't overcook your water leaf. I now added my nkong. That's the ugu leaf, the sliced ugu leaf. This is how we cook our edikangikong in Akwa Ibom State. After adding the leaf, make sure you turn off your gas immediately because you don't want that leaf to not be crunchy. And now it's time for us to taste the food. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't love food. Chilled zobo. So guys, we're having seafood okra. Hey.